Welcome to my project for DAS 115. I've entitled it A Lifetime of Dentition. The lesson objectives are 1. Be able to define in your own words primary, mixed, and permanent dentition. 2. Identify differences in the primary and permanent dentitions using the tooth number or lettering system and eruption and exfoliation ages. 3. Understand the anatomical differences between primary and permanent dentition. So we're going to start off by talking what is dentition? Well, it's defined as the natural teeth in the dental arch. We only have 2 sets of teeth in our lifetime, but we have 3 different dentition periods, which is the primary, mixed, and permanent. And the functions of our teeth include chewing, aesthetics, and the actual teeth actually help us to pronunciate our words. If you click on this link, it'll show you a video kind of in fast pace of how the teeth erupt and both primary and permanent. So first I'm going to start off with primary dentition. Primary dentition is the first set of 20 teeth. A lot of people call them the baby teeth, or they can be called deciduous. And in the primary dentition we have central incisor, lateral incisor, canine, first molar, and second molar. And this is different from the permanent dentition, which you will see later in this slideshow. Primary dentition occurs between 6 months and 6 years of age. It starts with the eruption of the primary mandibular central incisors, and it ends with the first permanent mandibular molar when they erupt. And if you look at the picture, you can see a general time frame of when they erupt and when they shed. So the maxillary central incisors will erupt around 8 to 12 months of age, and they'll shed around 6 to 7 years. Primary dentition it uses a letter system, capital A through T, in the Universal National System, and with the FDI and ISO, it'll use quadrants. So quadrants 5 through 8 and the tooth number. So for example, in the maxillary right quadrant, that would be quadrant 5, and the second molar would be tooth number 5, so that tooth would be 55. The first molar would be 54. The canine would be 53, and so on. For the maxillary left maxillary left quadrant would be quadrant 6, and if you're starting at the central incisor, it would be 61. Lateral incisor would be 62, and so on. The left mandibular would be quadrant 7, and if you're starting at the second molar, it'd be 75. First molar would be 74, and so on. And the last quadrant would be the mandibular right, which would be quadrant 8. And if you're starting at the central incisor, it would be 81. Lateral incisor would be 82, and so on. So next is the mixed dentition, which is just the period of when children lose their primary teeth and permanent teeth begin to erupt. So you have a lot of teeth going on. If you look at the x-ray or the radiograph photo, you can see all that's going on in that picture. Mixed dentition occurs between 6 years and 12 years of age, beginning with the eruption of the permanent mandibular first molar and ending with the shedding of the primary second molars. This can be a difficult time for children because of the obvious color and size differences of primary and permanent teeth. Primary teeth tend to be wider, and of course permanent teeth are a little bit bigger. Children may also experience crowding of their teeth. Since permanent teeth are larger, they kind of have to shift to get into position if there's not a lot of space for them. And permanent dentition is just the adult dentition. Not all, but most permanent teeth are sustainous, which is just meaning that they replace the primary teeth. So with the primary dentition, we had incisors, canines, and then molars. But with permanent dentition, we have the addition of premolars. And so incisors, canine, and molars would be considered sustainous, and premolars would not, since there are no premolars to replace in the primary. This occurs after 12 years of age and begins with the shedding of primary maxillary second molar. The permanent teeth are numbered 1 through 32, so you would start at the right maxillary. The third molar would be 1, and you go all the way around to the left maxillary, third molar, which would be 16. Then 17 would start at the mandibular left third molar and go all the way around to the mandibular right third molar. And this is for the Universal National System. For the FDI ISO system, again, we have quadrants, but this time we have quadrants 1 through 4. So right maxillary would be quadrant 1, with the third molar being tooth number 8. So that would be tooth number 18. Second molar would be 17. First molar would be 16, and so on. Then we have the left maxillary would be quadrant 2. And if we started at the central incisor, it'd be 21, lateral incisor 22, and canine 23, and so on. Then we have the left mandibular, which would be quadrant number 3. Starting at the third molar, we would be tooth number 38, second molar 37, and first molar 36. And then we would have the last quadrant, which is the right mandibular, would be quadrant number 4. So we'd start at the central incisor and be 41, lateral incisor 42, and canine 43. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.